It's very direct. It's a little confrontational. But I think also it's confrontational because sometimes when you're at your most vulnerable, you lash out.
Yeah.
You become a bit confrontational. And I think that's the whole thing about the name, Brat. It's like, yes, it's like bitchy and cunty and kind of confident, but I think also you act like a brat when you're feeling insecure.
Yes,
you know? Working in the music industry, and I mean just in general in like the creative industry or being in the public eye, I feel like you have these moments where you're like, I'm on top of the world, I'm the best, no one can touch me, and then literally like 24 hours later you could be like, I hate myself, no one cares about what I'm doing, what's the point, you know, whatever. And this album really taps into the kind of pendulum swinging from both of those feelings, you know?
You love CharliXCX for the same reason that you laugh at a joke. If you know, you know. The girls who get it, get it. CharliXCX is a mastermind of harnessing the sometimes challenging undertones of art that we all understand. And that is that art thrives on exclusivity. But mind you, that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially when that power is used to shine a spotlight on voices that otherwise probably wouldn't be elevated. As Von Dutch so lovingly explains, Miss XCX is a cult classic, but she's still pop. Charli occupies a very unique place in the pop landscape where she doesn't have the same leverage as maybe some of the other main pop girlies. We know the Grammys are ridiculous, but the only Grammy nomination Charli has ever received was for Fancy, another video, but I'm still so mad about Lana not getting that Grammy for Album of the Year. What happened? But at the same time, ironically, the pop girlies look to Charli for their references. She leads the pop landscape, coming in with all of these indie instincts and just this overall embrace of experimentation that I bet a lot of the pop girlies wish that they could successfully pull off. She's been doing this ever since her first album debut with True Romance, which contains exceptionally good pop music. My favorites are probably Stay Away and You, ha 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 ha, with the brilliant rollout for Brat. It seems like there are a lot of people intimidated by the world building of CharliXCX. Yes, she has a cool girl vibe. Yes, the persona is glamorous and glitzy and messy and fun. And for some people that can be off-putting. But luckily, we've confirmed through our sources in 360 that she doesn't fucking care what you think, or I think, or anyone else. But what I'm trying to get at is maybe you can create better art or more impactful, lasting art if what you're building is equally loved and hated rather than accepted by a mass market. Let's go ahead and take a deeper look under the hood at the reflections of CharliXCX and how she's co-opted this unique position in pop to genuinely shift the culture. Hi, I'm Kate. I'm an artist, and this is my series called Cattle Considerations, where I talk about art, culture, and the internet. And there are few artists that understand the internet better than CharliXCX, which is why she's so successful, particularly in today's landscape. I want to pull up one of the main critiques that seem to go viral by this commentator. Most of this video is going to be talking about what we have seen from the Brat era, and one of the biggest little peekaboo pieces in my opinion is the 360 video. So if you haven't watched that, you should watch that. Upon finishing the video, Daniel says, "Something about this feels a tad too myopic for me, self-referential for people who live in 4 neighborhoods in LA or NYC. Lady Gaga created her own self-mythology that we could all project our delusions onto. This feels frigid, like a crass reminder that you're not on the list." Now, there's a couple reasons of why I disagree with this critique. I think one of the main ones can be pointed to someone's response in this thread where they said, "Oh yeah, you're right. People outside of LA and New York City don't know who Julia Fox and Rachel Sennett are. This whole self-referential plot is exactly the point. I personally, as someone who lives in Brooklyn, and yes, maybe I'm the target audience, do not know most of the people who are at that table. But even so, why does me not knowing these people call into question the validity of all the people who have a literal seat at that table? I think there's a common misconception that just because something is exposed to a mass market, therefore it must be good, or therefore it should be there. Just like America in particular has this large overarching lie of meritocracy across all industries, or how just because you have exposure does not mean that you have a career. Isn't that kind of amazing that I don't know everybody at this table? Maybe it's an opportunity for me to be exposed to something new. Not everything is meant for you, but the things that are beautiful. I don't even know how I got down this internet thread, but I landed on this New York Times article discussion by Zoe Heller and Leslie Jamieson, basically just debating whether or not a popular book deserves all the praise. And two of the quotes that I want to call out to are, "We like to think that we live in an emperor's new clothes world, full of pretentious people lavishing praise on high-tone fakes. But we actually live in a sour grapes world, full of people scoffing at what they can't or can't be bothered to reach. It was as if any writing that didn't welcome them in and offer them the literary equivalent of a divan had failed a crucial hospitality test. We think that when art isn't made for us, that it is automatically bad. Or maybe we dislike things because we're jealous, and instead of trying to figure out where that desire is coming from and take action on it, it's much more satisfying and provides more instant gratification to try and tear the idol of something down." We often see this kind of phenomenon when artists become overexposed or too much of a household name. There's a reason why Taylor Swift's career has involved multiple redemption arcs. We see several videos lately on Anne Hathaway and Jennifer Lawrence and this exploration of being a beloved entertainment darling and then simply by virtue of becoming too successful, becoming hated overnight. This isn't to say that you shouldn't have or you shouldn't be allowed to have on opinions that weren't necessarily made for you, but if something is not made for you, then it's quite possible that you're missing the full context of why something is created and what its involvement in that particular subculture is. Trust me, I feel kind of wild making this, however long this video essay is going to be, simply off of watching a very quick music video. But the reason why I feel so passionate about this is we've watched Charli develop and self-mythologize herself into the amazing artist that she is today. And one thing that is exceptionally remarkable about her, especially in the pop landscape, is that she consistently brings up people with her. CharliXCX is not only a trailblazer in her sound choices and her choice of producers, songwriting, whatever, but she's also an incredible curator. I mean, just look at the people that she's brought into the world of her music. Obviously, the whole PC Music crew, bringing Sophie into a larger pop landscape, but also in her very public collaborations, right? The entire album Charli is all collabs. No one was taking Addison Rae seriously as an artist. I shouldn't say no one, but I think it's fair to say she didn't have as much respect until she got that cosign from Charli. And her EP, her pop EP, is awesome. I really enjoy it. The Von Dutch remix, Also love the screams. But would I be listening to it without the support from someone who is more established and that I trust as a fan? Probably not. She might have acquired this status that might feel intimidating to people, but she uses that to give light to other voices that would otherwise be cast off as illegitimate. And that is revolutionary. Another facet of the 360 video that I want to talk about is what I like to call a mirror onto a mirror onto a mirror onto a mirror. Challenging to think about now, considering the tragic context of Arcade Fire now, but some of this kind of reminds me of the self-referential nature of the Reflector album. I think this album and the video concept of 360 is coming at a perfect time where we know culture is more decentralized than ever. We know most people are going to be confused when they hear "I'm so Julia." 360 makes fun of the idea that this relevance is coldly calculated, when ironically CharliXCX seems like one of the few people who is prioritizing heart above safety in a pop context. We don't know all the it girls that are supposedly it girls. And isn't that fantastic? Because I think at its best, CharliXCX's music is meant to make you feel as though you can take on the world in whatever your world is. And she references these characters in her lyrics. You know, it's probably not that deep, but, you know, like the "I'm so Julia" or "I want to dance with George." It's like her circle is her shining light, is her personal collection of pedestals. It's giving the same energy of that Caroline Polachek lyric when she's talking about Wikipedia ad. Or for those who don't know the song, essentially like making being in Wikipedia like a verb, I guess. This arbitrary badge of honor turns you into something maybe mystical, something maybe that feels superhuman. I don't take the message from Brat that these elevated people in Charli's posse or whoever's posse therefore means that I or anyone else is inferior. I think of it more of like we can all take this self-mythologizing to heart sometimes, and when used properly, harness that energy to be the best or brightest versions of ourselves. It's giving auto fiction. Gatekeeping can serve a purpose when it's done in a way that highlights the unseen. I personally believe that there is a difference between being exclusive and exclusionary. I don't think this video or any of Brat is really telling people that they can't be part of something or they're not on the list or whatever. I think it's more of a, if you learn to speak our language, you can be a part of what we're trying to create. And so, yeah, where does the dislike of CharliXCX come from? I think through and through, Charli is kind of an underdog, right? She is unpredictable. She doesn't have this typical, whatever that means. It doesn't feel like she has a typical pop girl career, which is also why she's so excellent, but that can also be scary to people. She is the homegrown artist. She is the homegrown celebrity. I think people have a much harder time believing in the homegrown artist, believing in the homegrown celebrity, and accepting their legitimacy, especially when they're introducing more groundbreaking sounds than what we're used to. We're just naturally all a little afraid of the unknown. And yeah, I mean, I can see how the sass of Brat might make people feel weird. But it's so fun. It's so fun. It's bringing back the fun of pop. It's bringing back Charli loves Britney Spears. Britney's music is sassy and fun and glamorous. It's giving early 2000s pop, and the whole world that comes with that. And I can see how that might rub people the wrong way when we're used to hearing maybe way too much about a celebrity or artist, or knowing way too much about what goes on behind the scenes in the world of social media. But if you look closely, Charli has talked about her insecurity and a level of separation from her performances, which I think is probably true for every artist. But you have to know where to look. Like, I highly recommend this podcast if you're a Charli fan. But anyway, yes, I cannot wait for Brat. Some of my favorite Charli songs are probably Vroom Vroom, Club Classics, Von Dutch. I like the 360 remix almost more than regular 360. I love Constant Repeat. I love Lightning, Claws, Boys, Pink Diamond. I think there's a lot of reasons to respect CharliXCX beyond just her music. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. And that's okay. But that probably means that the rest of us that do get it will love it even more. Isn't that funny? Wow. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Let me know what your favorite Charli song is. Turn me on to some hidden gems that I have missed. Give it to me. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Bye.